Hello and welcome to Political Science 101. We are talking about a thesis statement today, and we are going to discuss how to write a thesis statement for your research paper. And you need to watch this video as well as the how to write an outline video. And these two together should really help you this week with your writing of your outline. And you need your thesis statement on that outline. Okay, so we are writing a thesis statement, and your thesis statement usually comes at the end of your first paragraph, your introduction paragraph, and you need to understand that your thesis statement is actually a roadmap of sorts, and you need to be sure that you write about what your thesis roadmap says, or people will not be able to understand what you're writing. And you really want the reader to be able to follow you clearly, know where you're headed, and know which direction you're going. So here's our thesis statement roadmap. You are here talking about our introduction, and today we're going to take the subject of gun control. A lot of people chose this issue in my political science class, and very popular issue. So we're going to choose, this is the gun control is going to be what we're talking about. So the first thing you need to do, there are 3 steps, and there's a lovely video that I posted on your module about beginners thesis statement, how to write a thesis statement for beginners, and it's very clear, and it's about Superman is actually what they take, writing your thesis statement about Superman. So we're going to go through those steps, and we're going to talk a little bit extra about it. So first you need to form a question. Most of the papers that I got were against gun control, and they did not want, more gun control. So you need a question. Why don't we need gun control? Why is there no need? Why for gun control? If that's your opinion, you can argue either side. A good writer can argue either side and have 3 good reasons with 3 solid, with evidence underneath each one and examples, and they can argue either way. And that is a good writer, even though, one way might be their beliefs and the other way might be their counter argument. Okay, so the first thing you do is create a question, and then you have to ask why, and you need 3 answers why. So I just chose 3 off the top of my head. I put, where did they go? Off the top of my head, I put we should have gun control to be able to protect ourselves and our families. So I put protect is the first reason. Okay. First exit. I put to hunt. Okay. And then the third reason I put, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. I believe it's bear arms. Haha. Whoops. We got our bears wrong. The right to bear arms, and we might mention the historian Turner. Turner is a famous historian who came up with a theory of the frontier, that Americans are very different than other people in the world because they were always encountering a frontier, and it kind of changed them, the sharing back and forth ideas as well as the battling of the wild frontier. So you could look up that as well and talk about that, that Americans will never give up their guns. Protect should go here. Sorry, that's reason number 1. We're putting hunt. I'm sorry, we put this in the wrong place. There we go. We have protect, hunt, and just the right to bear arms, the frontier theory, and this is also found in the Second Amendment. Is the Second Amendment right? Okay, and there we go. All right, now what we do, we're supposed to combine the steps 1 and 2 together, and that will get your thesis. Now your thesis wants to be strong. Your thesis is you're writing an argument paper. This is really a persuasive paper. This is a fantastic reason why you study history or political science is because it teaches you how to argue in the proper manner. It teaches you how to argue with evidence, with examples, not just, hateful words thrown back and forth, or, just, saying horrible things about either side, but actually to have some real meaty evidence as to why that would make people think. So this is a really good reason why, no matter what your profession is, studying history and studying political science is really behooves you to pay attention and listen, because this can help you get a raise. This can help you in, arguing for customer safety, arguing for patient safety, no matter what situation you are in life, to be able to, have 3 reasons, boom, 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 evidence, examples. Using the logical side. And not just the emotional side, because you really are against this, or really for this. You really need to have that balance of both logic and emotions. Okay. So here's our roadmap. We talked about what you do in the introduction, in your outline video. You want something very catchy, very interesting quote. And then at the end of your introduction, you will put your thesis statement, which is this roadmap that will show you where you're going. And again, I just really want to reiterate that you need to be sure to write about what your thesis statement says. So if now we're going to combine them and make a thesis statement. So what we would say is, guns are necessary because Americans need them for protection, for recreational hunting, and because it's in the Constitution and our Second Amendment right. Okay, and then you could go into the Turner thesis later, because Americans are supposedly different than other, groups of people because of the frontier that they faced. Okay. Now, this is something super, super important, okay? And I'm actually going to send each one of you emails, no matter what you write about, because I think this is a really good exercise in just maturity. It's called the counter argument. Now, there is a rubric attached to your paper, and I'll probably put it also in your. It is in the first little group of your module, but I'll probably put it in this week as well, because the first thing you need to do is to look in the rubric section of how to get an A really good paper, okay? And one of those things, if you pay careful attention, is to have a counter argument. Now, this is another step of maturity. Now, some of you have taken my class before. You wrote great papers. Some of you are really good writers, and you want a challenge. This is perfect. But regardless, I want you to think about this in the back of your mind. Counter argument. What does the other side say? Why? Understanding the other side actually helps you write a better paper. Yes, it is 7 o'clock. It actually helps you write a better paper because you're understanding the other side and you can speak to them. Okay. So what I did for this exercise was to look up, England or the UK you aren't allowed to have handguns. Now, I was misinformed. See, this is why you study the other side, because oftentimes you are misinformed, and I was misinformed. So I did some research on this, and why the UK does not have gun control, or why the UK does not have guns. I thought they didn't have any guns. Again, that's ignorance. I didn't know, okay? But I didn't stop there. So I read about why the UK has a ban against guns and why the policemen do not carry guns. And this is very, very interesting. There was a shooting 20 years ago, March the 13th, 1996. 16 children were dead in the shooting, and 1 teacher was killed. But that's not all, okay? That's not all. 30, I have it written down, where'd it go? 32 people were shot and injured on top of the 17 dead, okay? And this is what happened, and it changed the course of the UK, as it should, okay? This was the deadliest shooting in all of UK history. And now that they have these gun controls, they have the lowest homicide rate or murder rate by gun of any country in the world. Okay, so this needs to make you think a little bit. asking why. Okay, because if you're going to take this stance for it, you need to know those people who oppose it, so you can at least have a conversation with them and not just pit us against them. You can't do that. That gets nothing done. That's not communicating. So this is what happened. A man walked in to the school. He first cut all the telephone lines. He walked in the school with 4 handguns. Only handguns are outlawed in the UK. You can have a sporting rifle or a shotgun for sport. You can. But no handguns are allowed. And the police are not armed either. Okay. I did not know you could have sporting rifles. So this incident took place in Scotland, and it was a man named Hamilton. He also killed himself, so there was a total of 18 fatalities because of the shooter as well. He killed himself. He was a 43-year-old man who had many after-school clubs. He was a Boy Scout leader, all this different stuff, and he got lots of complaints. People were complaining about him. The children were complaining, parents complaining, so he often lost. He was not allowed to have them anymore because apparently it wasn't going over well. So he went back in because of these youth clubs that were closed and denied and that sort of thing, and he killed these people. So they've only had one other large scale shooting in 2010, and that's pretty much it. All right. Now, the UK is a different consistency than the people in America, but this outraged the nation, and they passed 2 huge gun laws, and they were tired of it. So, I just want you to really think about the counter arguments. And I know also some people who are for guns and the ability to have guns and get them and be licensed. This man had 4 licensed guns, and there were 4 handguns that he took into this school, and he had 743 cartridges. Wow. So some people who are for the freedom of guns and not having gun control, some of them are against like AK-47s, assault rifles, or machine guns, because if you're doing to protect your family, a shotgun will do just fine. It has a little kick to it, but it still do just fine. Might bruise your shoulder. Hunting, I grew up on a farm, and if you're hunting, you do not take an AK-47. You don't take a bazooka either. You don't take a machine gun, because that's not fair to the animal. That's not sport. That's just kind of disgusting. It's not recreation. They don't have a chance. So, you shoot with, you've got the bows for bow season, and then of course you have, your rifles and different guns for hunting. And then you also, your third reason would be right to bear arms. And the frontier, and American has this wild spirit, and don't tread on me, and that sort of thing. So a lot of people think that they'll never have those guns completely taken away. But what I didn't know is the UK doesn't either. You can have guns for sporting. So this makes me think, because I learned something by studying the counter argument on the other side, and that's what I'm going to have you do. Some of you that are studying different things, I'm going to ask you to look at your opposing view and see if you learn anything from them, because I think it's super important. Okay, so here is our roadmap. In the rest stop, in our conclusion, you will talk about kind of a recap, summary of your paper, and then you might talk about some analysis that you saw, some trends you saw, that sort of thing, or some thoughts that you never had before, as well as addressing your counter argument. Now, you can address your counter argument throughout, weave it through, or you can address it in a conclusion, and you can make your conclusion 2 paragraphs if you want to. But I really, really want to encourage you to make sure that your thesis is strong. It's taking a side, it's taking an opinion, you're arguing a point, you're arguing. And make sure that you look at the counter argument, because you can learn something. And when you know both sides better, you're going to have a better paper. And just write a better paper because you know more. Knowledge is power. And good luck. Thank you very much.